Joseon, whose basic ideology was Confucianism, tried to create a society where kings, servants, and people were in harmony through courtesy and music. So during the Joseon dynasty, the role of music was considered very important. In the early Joseon dynasty, instruments imported from the Ming dynasty of China were used. As independent consciousness has increased gradually, instruments have been made and used to suit Korea since King Sejong. Musical instruments using court music were made of materials such as iron, stone, wood, and soil to harmonize with nature. The imperial court used different music for each event. When performing ancestral rites, ritual music was played. In particular, in Korea, courtesy was considered important, so there was also a separate music played by the king when he traveled.
Even in the Joseon dynasty, there was a government office that worked on music. There, they educated and managed people who played the music of various ceremonies, events, and court music of the country. Joseon regarded music as important because it was a country based on Confucian ideas. Confucianism emphasized music because it thought it could make people happy, peaceful, and enjoyable. In Joseon, new instruments were created or improved, works and scores were organized, and court music was created. In addition, it was created to theoretically organize Oriental music and make ritual music. Since then, the subject of music has changed to a society of the common people. Dance and theater have also been preserved in relation to music.
In the later period of Joseon, a lot of wars broke out like Japanese invasion of Korea in Imjin year. Many instruments of Joseon were destroyed and most of musicians scattered. To preserve traditional music, many musicians tried to make many music books. Rich commoners and middle statues began to enjoy wide spectrum of music. Wide spectrum and various activities led some changes on later period of Joseon. The first was retroism music trying to go back to ancient Joseon. These music tended to have simple beats and slow rhythms. The second was new musicism. They tended to have high range of notes. These high notes made pansori, sijo, and sanjo.
After Korea was liberated from Japan's direct control in 1945, the development of a nation-led and independent music industry began. Joseon Records, the first nationally independent record company, was established. While traditional genres continued to be inherited, popular music was influenced by foreign music and changed into a new and colorful trend. Because of the political situation of the time, singing emotions and perspectives of the situation at the time, including division of the homeland and liberation, led the popular trend. Songs containing the loss of hometown due to division, such as Spring of Sampaksan and My Hometown in Dreams, were composed. However, during the Korean War in 1950, many musicians disappeared and suffered musical decline. At the time, songs such as Miari Pass of General Manager containing the pain and sad stories of the Korean War were composed, and songs containing national values beyond personal emotions became popular. While popular music also played a role in soothing the pain of the war in the private sector, consolation troops of military were established and worked actively. Even after the Korean War, the US 80th Army was stationed to prevent North Korea from invading, and the stage within the US 8th Army had a leading influence on the development of Korean popular music, which was hit after the war. American-styled variety shows the dance halls for the cultural life of the US military was very popular. As Koreans worked on the stage here, they had to play songs tailored to the taste of the US military in Korean music, which was an opportunity for the influence of American popular culture. So, from this time on, British American music, especially American-centered music, became strong in earnest. This influx of American popular music had led to a tendency to yearn for Western life. The exotic tastes revealed from titles such as Lucky Morning, San Francisco, and Arizona Cowboy directly showed longing for Western society represented by the United States. Musically, various forms of Western styles emerged in earnest. Many songs, such as Dejan Verse, Nearly Mambo, and Rain's Tango, actively borrowed the style of Western popular music and expressed the desire of Westernization.
Do you know the word 70-80? 70-80 songs are a form of youth culture created for escaping from a gloomy dictatorship in 1970s, 1980s. The lyrics of 70-80 songs are lyrical like poems. Those songs were played by acoustic instruments. Acoustic guitar accompaniment could make people concentrate on the singer's voice. However, 70-80 songs were banned for unreasonable reasons under a dictatorship power. 송창식 Why Call Me was one of them. It was prohibited because it was not proper to the age. Thus, about 200 songs were designated as prohibited songs, but people couldn't understand the reason for the ban. After such hardship and trials, 70-80 songs failed to adapt to the new generation of culture, rap hip-hop, in the 1990s after the dictatorship. In the early 1990s, ballads were the mainstream. However, dance music had become the mainstream since the mid-1990s. Dance music in the 1990s include house rhythmic dance like Eurodance, New Jack Swing, hip-hop, and other black music. 서태지, H.O.T. and JYP were the representative singers. Later, a song called Now and You was also released to overcome the country's great orgy.
Do you remember when the Red Wave hit Korea in 2002? The street cheers and shouts of the Red Devil spread all over the world, becoming the beginning of street cheering. From that on, our music went to the world. Popular music such as Wonder Girls' Nobody, Big Bang's Lie, Girls' Generation's G, and BTS Idol captures the hearts of overseas fans as well as Korea, and is a culture called K-pop is being settled, and our music is still moving towards the world. I sincerely hope that one day our traditional melodies will touch the world.